Now that you're listening to Radio Multiverse, you're completely in me power.
Freedom City, a true city of heroes. A city with countless stories of selfless men and women that wage a never-ending battle against evil. This is not one of those stories.
Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of Radio Multiverse RPG with your host, Ramsey. And today marks the beginning of our very first session of the Freedom Foes campaign, which will be a campaign using the third version of the Mutants and Masterminds game. System. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, we're kind of in a rush because usually we start about like 1:30, and now it's 4:30. Somebody overslept.
Sorry.
So, yes, exactly.
Be
so
sorry.
We're not gonna waste any time blabbering about. Let's just get started. And joining us for today's game, we have several players, like Nico.
Hello.
So, Nico, tell us about the character you'll be playing today.
I play a character called Ghost Spider who stabs people and throws shurikens around.
Sounds like a ninja.
He is.
Oh, that explains it. Okay, thanks. Next up, we have Dries. Hello, Dries.
Hello.
So, what are you playing today?
I'm playing a villain.
No kidding. What does he do?
And what's his name?
His name is Paradox, and he has time powers.
I see. He controls time. That's
Yes,
pretty
and that
big
is
stuff.
And that's the only thing he can do. He can see past, present, and future, can manipulate time a little bit, and that's it.
All right. But don't sell yourself too short, because that's already pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Yes. In any case, for our next player, we have Dawo. Hello, Dawo.
Hello, Ramses. I will be playing Scrapper, a master mechanic. A master mechanic who's out to rock your world.
Groovy. I mean, awesome. Anyway, last but not least, we have that guy who overslept today, Richard.
Hey everybody, I'm playing Mindblade, who, well, from his name you can tell, he gets into people's heads. And he's a very successful businessman in his alter ego.
I see. Alright. Thank you, dear players. And let us get started with our intro. Our game will be taking place in Freedom City, a metropolis on the west coast of the United States that's most well known for its abundance of superheroes. Chief among those is of course the Freedom League, the stalwart defenders of justice and liberty, who in recent years have expanded their operation to span the entire globe. But today we will not focus on these heroes, for today we're taking a look at the other side of the coin. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Freedom Foes, the world's deadliest and most sinister supervillains. Or at least, that's what they would like you to believe.
That's one evil laugh.
Currently, it's the 18th of October, 2012, and the entire city is getting ready for the upcoming elections. Unfortunately, the city is still recovering from a recent attack of the robot army of the techno-terroristic organization known as the Tomorrow People. Not that this would concern our current protagonists, or should I say antagonists. More interesting is that half of the Freedom League is currently in space, helping an allied alien race deal with a crisis of cosmic proportions. And the other half is currently in the Netherlands, dealing with the invasion of a rogue Atlantean warlord and his army. Of course, there are other superheroes in town, but most of them are still occupied with dealing with the aftermath of the assault of the Tomorrow People. So there's no better time than the present for crime. We now turn our attention to the North Bay district of Freedom City. And I'm gonna pull that up on my map so people can follow at home. Alright. So yes, the North Bay district of Freedom City, a part of town that's mostly frequented by the more affluent of Freedom's citizens, and one can find things like fancy yacht clubs and expensive cocktail bars there. But among these prestige establishments, there sits a rather out-of-place looking box-shaped single-level white building. It doesn't have any distinguishing features, no windows, a plain wooden front door, and is identifiable only by the plain black letters painted on its front wall, reading Karma Club, written with 2 Ks. Of course, those who are familiar with the Karma Club know that this is perhaps the most exclusive establishment of the entire North Bay, because this club only caters to criminals, and especially to supervillains. And it looks like today a new member will be joining the fray as we see a certain individual approaching the side entrance. Alright, Dries, you're up! What does your character look like?
My character looks like evil. No.
Obviously!
You're evil incarnate.
Oh, at the first look at him, you would see someone walking around in a black lab coat or doctor coat.
Yes?
Wearing a hood, and as for a face, he has almost it's almost covered in one big visor.
Faceplate,
okay.
yes.
Faceplate, yes.
Yeah, like a glass faceplate. Okay, right. And I assume it's non-transparent.
It's non-transparent.
Okay.
It's one way. Yes.
Oh, you know what? Because I keep forgetting this, I'm gonna move to back to the Freedom Foe screen. And first off, to the viewers at home, I'd like to explain. There's like a huge statue in Freedom City commemorating the heroics of the Centurion, the greatest hero Freedom City has ever known. But unfortunately, he died in a cataclysmic battle against a supervillain called Omega. And since that day, they constructed a huge statue in his honor. And the reason why I put a cross over that statue is because in a recent supervillain related incident, the statue came to life and had to be beaten up. So currently the statue is a little bit missing.
Indeed.
In any case, my good friend Davey Wagnarok, who you might still remember from our review we did on Neo City Rumble, at least Nico and I did that one. And he made some character art for us. What you're currently seeing is still the concept art, so probably by next session we'll have the definitive version, but it's already looking pretty cool as it is. So here's the picture of Paradox, for instance. Anyway, Dries, carry on.
Where was I?
You had just described yourself, and you're on
yes.
your way to the side entrance of the Karma Club, because you heard this is the real entrance. Only the chumps and the people who don't really know about this club use the front entrance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I walk up to the door. I open it. I knock on the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd. There's no answer.
Then I try to open the door.
The door's unlocked.
I go in.
Okay. As you open the door, it reveals a poorly lit hallway. It's like you can barely make it out. But you think that at the ending you see a door, and to the side, to the left, you see a staircase heading downwards. And your attention is immediately drawn to this this golden-looking chalice, which is sitting there on a shelf to your right, and there's like this flame coming out of it, this red flame. But as soon as you enter the hallway, the flame suddenly becomes green, and you didn't notice him at first. Yes, a green flame, and you didn't notice him at first, but near the staircase, you suddenly notice this hooded man standing there. He's just wearing a simple black hooded jacket, and he like says, "I see you're not a member, sir."
No, I'm not.
Yep.
May I ask what you're doing here, sir? By the way, you can't really make out his face because it's dark and he likes wearing a hood.
I would like to become a member. I am looking for a job to... I'm looking for some quick money, and I've heard this was the best place.
So you want to join the club, huh? You got any powers? By the way, close the door.
He does.
Okay.
Oh no, he looks at the door and the door closes.
What did you just do back there?
Temporal time displacement.
Okay, it's a neat trick. So you want to join the club, huh? And he starts approaching you. And he comes into the light, and you notice he's like actually a pretty young-faced looking African American. He doesn't look that much older than like 20 or something. He was like younger than you expect, at least from the sound of his voice. And he like suddenly like pulls out the switchblade. And, like, ching! And he like holds. Wait, hold on. What's your first reaction to switchblade?
How standard.
You don't really react. Okay. And he doesn't really react to you either. He just like holds the blade in the flame for a moment, and he's like, "You wear gloves?"
Of course.
Yeah, I'll take one off.
Fine. He takes his hands out of his pockets and takes off his right glove.
All right. And he opens his jacket with his free hand while he's still holding the blade in the fire, and he like gets out this plain white card. And then he's like, "Okay, hold out your hand."
He does.
Okay. And he gives you this really quick prick in your finger, just like a small prick, and this drop of blood. He like guides it with the blade onto the white card, and then he like throws it into the fire, and there's this really big whoosh that the fire suddenly like wells up. And you notice like the flame becomes red again instead of green. And he puts the blade, and he like wipes the blade on this handkerchief he happens to have with him. He puts it away again, and he says, "Welcome to the club, sir." And he stands, and he gets out of the way.
Thank you. As he looks at his finger, the bleeding stops, and he puts back on his glove.
And he then says, "It's down the stairs."
Of course.
So yes, apparently that's the only thing you need to do to join the club. A drop of blood.
And your DNA. Freaking prick.
Yes, indeed, your finger needs to be pricked.
There's a jerk in my finger.
Anyway,
I
yes.
Oh,
moved down
that's
the
the punishment. You now have to put up with a dick finger. Comedy gold. Comedy
He
gold.
walks down the stairs and enters the bar, I presume.
Probably. You don't need to. You could always go back.
Yes,
Yeah,
let's
going
waste
back
more
home.
time.
Goodbye.
So I assume you go down the stairs and you see another door there.
Yes.
It's
I
pretty
open the
cramped.
door.
It's, by the way, it's pretty cramped stairwell. It looks like it's just enough for one person. Like 2 people couldn't like pass through here at the same time. At least not if they're standing next to each other.
That's good.
Mhm.
Yes, I open the door and I go in.
All right. And you enter.
And you're dead.
You enter the real Karma Club. It looks at the first glance it's like you were probably expecting this dank hole full of suspicious characters, but instead it looks like a respectable establishment full of suspicious characters. Everything looks very clean. The room is well lit, but still has a few shady corners for those that don't wish to attract too much attention. To the right there's the bar. And you notice that it is well stocked. You see a lot of shelves with colorful looking bottles of all sorts. And of course there's an ample supply of chairs and tables. And even some pool tables in the back and also some slot machines. When you're entering the room, yeah, of course you notice like all sorts of colorful characters. There's like this man sitting at this table. He's dressed a little bit like a harlequin, like a medieval harlequin, and also wearing like a domino mask. And you notice like he's shuffling cards like at a rapid speed. And you notice like anybody want to join me for a game of poker? And you notice like everybody like avoiding him like the plague for some reason. You have no idea why.
Wild card.
And yes, indeed, it's Wildcard. For those of you who know the Freedom City universe. And at another table, you see like this very pale-faced man who, for some reason, is dressed like a mail courier. This other man in like this, in this bald man this bald middle-aged looking man in like this green leathery jumpsuit, who's also sitting next to him, and like on the other side of the table there, what is that? Stalin? Stalin is sitting there having a drink. What the hell?
How fascinating.
So yes, as you could have guessed, there's a lot of colorful characters here at the club. So, oh yes, and of course, at the bartending bar there, you see a highly attractive lady that I will describe as soon as you walk up to her.
You're as ugly as a knight. You have a job for me. I do not say that.
Oh, I was gonna say. Yeah. Okay,
No,
so what do
I
you do?
walk over to the bar and I. Yes.
Oh
and
yeah, there's some oddly calming music playing for some reason.
Yes, because you want to get people in here all excited.
Yeah, because being the villain is
Yeah.
stressful. Excuse me, miss. I am looking for a job.
Right. Okay. The woman looks up at you. She was like cleaning glasses. Seems to be a highly attractive woman in like you think about mid-20s. She has a shoulder-length red hair, and from what you can see, she because of course you can't see past the counter. She is wearing a red waistcoat, a white button shirt with rolled up sleeves, and her shirt is slightly unbuttoned, giving you a tempting look at her bosom.
I see.
In any case, she says, "Oh hi, I've never seen you here before. You new member?"
Yes, I joined about 5 minutes ago.
I see. That's very interesting. Were you told of all the details?
Not at all.
Oh. Oh yeah, James, he's still a bit new at this job. But I just want you, we don't have a lot of rules here, but I just want you to know, you can't use your powers here, not under any circumstances. Don't use them, you'll regret it, okay?
Agreed.
Okay, and next up, never start a fight here or outside. If you do anything that attracts attention to the club, you'll be banned for life and might end up dead, depending on what you did. Okay?
Understood.
Okay. So yes, welcome to the club. So you're looking for a job, is that it?
Yes, indeed.
Can I get you a drink first? And she smiles at you.
Some water, please.
Water! How exciting! No, really, water?
Yes.
What kind of water?
Tab.
She was already like pointing over to like bottles of imported mineral water and stuff like that. Wow, they have some fancy stuff here. And she's like, all right, Mr. Big Spender, one tall glass of tap water coming up. By the way, you're looking for a job? There are several gentlemen here also looking for work. Maybe you could tag up with them. And she like gives you the glass of water. And then she like points over to some other player characters. First off, I want to know, would you guys have mingled by now?
Yes.
Okay.
Depends. If people come talk to him, he'll talk back, but if not, I think he'll just sit quietly.
I think Scrapper is the sort who talks to people, right? Dawa?
Oh, yeah, and I've got a few friends running around here, so I'll just link up and talk a bit.
Okay, so you guys are like sitting at a table, probably having a beer or whatever. So, Dawa, you gonna go first, describing Scrapper?
Sure. Scrapper is he's a burly dude. You'd have to be considering he has survived various plots. He's dressed like a a metalhead. Just black clothes, black ripped jeans, nice leather jacket with all sorts of nasty spikes on it, and incongruous. And the most striking feature is his visor, which shines a soft blue. He's armed with a big hammer. And of course, he's got this bandolier with all manner of things attached to it.
I forgot to mention, if you're a weapon user, you also want to hand that over before you head in. So currently, you don't have a hammer.
Ah, okay, not a problem.
Security precautions, of course.
I don't mind. I've got my fists.
Yes, you do.
Right. As I said, and a bandolier adorned with all manner of technological gadgets.
Okay, cool. And Nico, what about your character, Ghost Spider?
Well, in a rather stark contrast, next to the metalhead, you see a man looking extremely ordinary. He's wearing a pair of jeans. They are black. They seem to be worn. He's also wearing a rather common-looking white sweater. And he has a frown on his face.
Isn't he wearing some sort of disguise, though?
Yes. Naturally, he has a bandana kind of thing covering up most of his face, so you can only see the top of his. So you can only see his eyes and.
Oh, right. Okay, but so to make it clear for the viewers, he's like wearing a makeshift disguise. This guy doesn't look like your flashy kind of supervillain. Right?
Nope.
All right. Yes, we have a picture prepared. I'm actually not gonna show the viewers the detailed picture of Ghostspider yet because he just isn't wearing that outfit yet. So later.
Yes,
Anyway,
it would
so-
be rather.
Yeah. No wonder Scrapper is talking to the guy. They have the same taste in jeans.
I can hear Scrapper go, "Weren't those mine jeans?"
So, well, what are you guys drinking? I wanna see the difference between what everybody's drinking, compared to Mr. Boring glass of water guy.
A big stein of ale.
Okay, cool.
I actually brought a stein to here. I actually bought a stein of ale, and bought a stein and just handed it over to the bar people.
Yeah, you brought your own.
Not the ale, just the mug.
Yeah, you're a regular. It's clear Scrapper is a regular.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The plain man, however, is drinking a rather plain rum and coke.
Okay. Still not as boring as what Paradox is drinking. But anyway, so yes, you see, Dries, you see those two men probably talking to each other, maybe about jeans or rock music, I have no idea. But anyway, the woman, has she introduced herself?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
she says, and my name is Tamara, by the way. If you need anything, just give me a holler. By the way, she's like the only visible personnel you see in the entire establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and yeah, she like points you towards those guys. They're like they're waiting for their employer to show up, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe this is your chance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris.
Yes, I walk over to them as I take a straw from the bar. I put it in the glass, and the top
Swag.
end of the straw disappears in my visor somewhere.
Somewhere. It's a mystery.
Through an induction port of some sort, I guess.
Yes.
Indeed.
Induction port. Little Mass
Cool,
Effect reference there. Anyway, carry on.
Yes.
And he walks over to those two colorful people.
And then I said to the officer, but officer, I don't know this lady. And he goes, wasn't she your wife like 5 minutes ago? I said, well, it was a Vegas marriage.
To which Ghostspider responds,
He
I
He
sliced
cocks-
his throat afterwards.
he cocks a grin and goes like, "Tch." Yeah, he just goes "Tch," and takes another sip from his.
not a talkative type. Anyway. So yes, a weird-looking gentleman approaches the table.
Indeed.
He even looks weird for this place. Because most
Yes.
bad guys at least take off their helmets when they're in here. They don't necessarily reveal their identity. They'll put like on a smaller domino mask or something. But if you're like coming here for a drink, you don't wear this full facial helmet. What the hell?
Okay, so the metalhead just looks at the other metalhead with a raised eyebrow.
Paradox stands in front of the both of them and calmly goes, "Gentlemen."
I'm guessing you. I'm wondering, are you new by any chance?
I became a member about 6 minutes ago.
Ah, right. Well, welcome to the club.
Right.
I'm Scrapper.
The other guy just gruffs and goes,
I don't think. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Nico, but I don't think your character calls himself Ghostspider yet.
"Nope."
Oh, okay.
He doesn't pronounce his name at all.
I'm Street Ninja.
And the other guy just gruffs and goes, "My name is my own business. That's none of your concern."
You can call him Al.
Yeah, I'm trying to convince him to get a little bit a better name. You know, something to work on your brand and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, your rep. Yeah.
Mr. Scrapper, Mr. No Name, nice to meet you.
And what's your name?
My name is Paradox.
Paradox. Yeah, I've heard about that word for quite some time. What does it mean anyway?